Are you experiencing the first one blues? Or maybe dealing with the frustration of long SQL queries? Or maybe you're just tired of waiting eons for your apps to update after you make interactions. Well, for the low price of a like and subscribe, I'm gonna show you guys some techniques to make your guys' apps run much faster. First up, we have SQL caching, which improves the speed of your SQL queries by reusing the results from a previous query rather than executing over and over and over and over and over. However, this memory of your query does not last forever, and it will need to be re-executed after some specified amount of time, like 60 minutes, for example. Under the Environments tab in your Hex project, query caching will be on by default with a timeout of 60 minutes. Now, this can be longer or shorter depending on your preferences, but how should this change based on your goals? Now, in reality, I don't know what your goals are, but here are some motivations for why you would want to play around with this. First is you're not worried about having the freshest data. Suppose your database updates every 10 minutes and your query cache timeout is set to 2 hours. During the initial execution, the query retrieves all the results, taking as long as the query wants for, and then for the following 2 hours, this query executes much quicker due to the cache. But it misses out on the database updates occurring every 10 minutes. Now, if these new records are crucial for your analysis, consider reducing the cache timeout rather than disabling caching altogether. Second, your SQL queries are just really slow. Using a data cache for time-consuming queries improves the execution speed after the initial run. If data freshness isn't very crucial for your analysis, setting a longer cache time, like a week for example, is going to make your queries feel even snappier for longer. Now, this ensures faster execution since the query will be cached for a week, even if the kernel restarts or the project is revisited later. And third, schedule runs for better app performance. If the data in your database updates often, you can use a schedule run to automatically update your cache at set time intervals, keeping the cache data up to date without your manual input, which is a win-win. Now, this is recommended if data freshness is important to you and you still want to use the cache results in your project. Now, all projects come armed with a set of built-in variables like these ones right here. Look at them just chilling. And hex run context we can see is part of the group. In a nutshell, this variable describes the context that a project is running in. And because of this, we can use it to execute different logic depending on where someone is looking at from, such as the logic view, a schedule run, or the published app. So why would you use this? Well, say you're working on a project that has some heavy processing. Like for example, maybe you're doing sentiment analysis or transforming a large data set, or maybe you're hitting an API that only allows a few requests per minute. Any of these processes can become quite time consuming and you may only need to do them a handful of times, leading to the perfect conditions for hex run context. Let's take the scenario of performing sentiment analysis on a collection of customer reviews, which, speaking from experience, can take a while. What I want to do is run the heavy job in one context and then push those results to a remote location. When someone looks at my app, we can pull in those results rather than run the heavy job all over again, making them wait forever and making them not want to see your app ever again and making them not want to be your friend anymore. That means you have no more friends anymore. That means you're going to be lonely. Do you want to be lonely? To set this up in Hex, first, you're going to want to add a new Python cell to your project. Second, create an if-else statement that checks which context the project is running in. And you can change this according to your needs. Third, you're going to write the logic that performs the heavy job in the do heavy job section. Then save the results to a remote location such as S3 or a data warehouse. And fourth, we're going to write the logic to retrieve the data from a remote location, such as S3 or your data warehouse. Now, I'll leave some links in the description showing how to write data externally to an S3 bucket or a data warehouse like BigQuery or Snowflake. And now, if you run the heavy job in the logic view or a schedule run, it's going to execute, push those results to the remote location. Otherwise, it's going to pull the data from the remote location and use that in the rest of the analysis, making your app feel much smoother and faster, and the end users of your app will be very pleased with you. I want to start with a deep, philosophical question that has been asked since the beginning of time. When someone opens your app, what do you want them to see? The state of your app last time you published it, the result of a scheduled run, should the app run from top to bottom every time they open it? These are all questions that have plagued humans since the dawn of time, and I want to help you understand each of them so that you can make the best choice in your analysis. The first and default option is to show the results from a published or scheduled run, which does exactly like it sounds. When someone opens your app, should Hex show the version that you last published, or should it show the version from the most recent scheduled run? This option is most useful when your app has zero interactivity, the underlying data doesn't change after you publish, your app is running on a schedule which will refresh the data automatically, or you're embedding the app somewhere else externally to Hex and you want it to load quickly. The second recommended option is to rerun the app if it's out of date. But what does out of date even mean here? Well, this is based on the setting just below and works in the exact same way as the cache timeout. For example, if I set the timer to 2 minutes and then publish the app right now, the app will become stale after 2 minutes of being published. When the app is out of date, it will prompt you to refresh and silently run in the background. And once that's finished, the app will be refreshed with the newest results. The last option is to always run the app when someone opens it. This option is going to be the slowest and will require users to sit and wait until the entire app has run before any of the cells are rendered. With this setting on, you'll still be able to use your cache SQL results, but it also means that every other cell is going to need to be executed before anything is going to be shown on screen. Have you ever opened a Hex app and changed a value in a dropdown and then waited for the entire app to run? Well, you, my friend, are not alone, and even I have had my fair share of the first run blues. But don't worry, there's a good reason for this, and it all boils down to the variables in your apps are not loaded into memory until the cell it was created in has been executed. Seeing the values in a dropdown or the rows in a table display may lead you to believe that the variables are still in memory, but this is all an illusion for the benefit of faster load times. Any interaction will trigger an initial rerun of the app, and the interaction settings specifies what should happen after this first execution. If the first option is selected, when a user interacts with the published app, any downstream cells will run automatically, making your apps feel more snappy and reactive. If the second option is selected, a run button will appear in the top right corner of your project, and any interactions won't be registered until this button is pressed. And this is helpful for apps where multiple inputs need to be configured manually before executing any of your downstream cells. And then just below that is our last setting, which is to pre-run the cells in the background. This will silently and in the background start running all the cells in your project once someone opens your app. If this run has finished before any interaction is made, then when someone does interact with your app, you're not going to experience the first run blues. Now, I must add that this is the most beneficial for shorter running apps. If the run doesn't finish before the user interacts, the silent run will be killed off and then a new execution will start from top to bottom. And there you guys go, some tips to help you boost your app's performance. Now, I hope you guys have found this video enjoyable and valuable, and if there's anything that you guys want to see in the future, don't forget to leave a comment. Also, if you enjoyed, don't be scared to leave a like and a comment, or even subscribe, because if you don't, there may be a chance that someone may or may not come and delete all the projects in your workspace. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.